everybody. We did not forget about y'all. We are so happy to welcome our special guest tonight on the 3% podcast, student Dr. Azalia Roach. She is the newest winner of the FBD Scholarship. And for those who don't know, now you know. You're going to learn all about what the FBD Scholarship is, why it's important to us, and why we gave this beautiful, wonderful, intelligent doctor this scholarship. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Azalia Roach. He's going to give you guys a little bit more information.
Yeah, so we're really excited to be able to share this platform in this way. We normally in the past didn't get an opportunity to highlight our winners and our recipients. So we wanted to do something different this year and not just post on social media about the winner, but give you guys a little bit more feedback of who they are, right? We can put a story to the person. We can get to know who they are, what makes them who they are, because I think that we all can learn from them, right? If you guys know, our scholarship was really designed to highlight, Black student ODs who are just out there killing it at the top of their game, inspirational, and we wanted to give them an opportunity to shine because as doctors now who have been through the academic process and been in school, we didn't get that love, we didn't get that shine. Nobody really gave us that sense of like, hey, you know what I'm saying, you guys are doing it, and we want to be able to give back in that way. So this is something that we've been doing now for the past 4 years and want to continue to do. So if you do go to Nova, your second or third year student, this is a scholarship, $2,000 scholarship that you can apply for that will go towards your usually your summer tuition. And that's something that we do. So this is something that we want to do to continue to incentivize and encourage students to really get on top of their game, keep pursuing academically. We want you to be well-rounded, so we want you to be involved in all kind of organizations. We want you to be doing everything at the highest level because we want to show not just the program, but the world that we can compete with anybody and we can represent too. So with that, I do want to pass it over to student Dr. Roach just to share a little bit more about her story with us, about who she is, and you can tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Right. So I was born and raised in Greenwood, Mississippi. To my parents, Doris Roach, she is an assistant director at my grandmother's daycare life adjustment center. My dad, longtime police officer and truck driver. He's the office manager at his job. And they raised me in a family full of nurses. And we have one doctor, she's a pediatrician. And I kind of was just raised up on like the principles of serving others. And I was raised in also a family of Alcornites, as you can see, always Alcorn, always HBCU. And while I was there, my brief time, I marched in the sounds of dynamite. I pledged Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I just continue just to uphold my family's name the best way that I can.
That's impressive. That's really impressive. So who would you say is your role model?
My role model is actually my first cousin, Dr. Lauren Elizabeth Roach. It was basically her who helped me through the whole process of getting into optometry school, from, oh, you need to shadow. Okay, let me go find someone to shadow, to helping my letters, like the personal statements. Every time it's time for me to type something, I send it to her just so she can like decontrify it, if that makes sense.
I like that. I love that.
It's her. She's been my whole academic career, actually.
I love that. She must be so proud of you.
I wanted to ask, what is her profession? You said she's a doctor, but what does she do?
She's a pediatrician. She's specialized in endocrinology.
Nice.
Okay.
Have
you found an optometry mentor since you've been at Nova?
Oh, my beloved Dr. Reynolds.
Oh.
Big Mama. Shout out to Big Mama. She know what she is.
And I get a hug. When I need a pep talk, I pep talk. She's literally everything that I need at Nova.
And she will continue to be. I think we can all speak to say that. we graduated a long time ago, but every time we see her, she always remembers us, loves us, gives big hug and smile. I'm always happy to see how far we've come. So that mentorship bond, that relationship you're building with her, hold on to it strong because you're still going to need it after graduation. It's still important.
I know.
And one
So
thing
now
about Reynolds,
yeah.
when, and I'll be honest with you, there was a couple, it was about 2-3 of y'all we were considering for the scholarship. You were the clear winner for us this year. But when I told Dr. Reynolds about you, she just went absolutely crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what's going on? But little did I know, y'all have a secret, like y'all have y'all's own special, unique relationship already. So when I said your name, she was just like, just lit up, and she had nothing but great things to say about you. So don't think that it's one-sided. Like, she talks about you in such good ways, like outside of you, knowing. So that's awesome. I just love to see that.
Yeah, that's really good. So you said your mentor, your cousin, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a pediatrician. So what made you decide to go into optometry?
I get that question, and like I said, it was all because of her.
Yeah.
The pressure that the family put on me to be the next doctor of the family. But I told them that I was going to choose something that I was comfortable in. Yeah. So then I go on this journey, and we don't like to go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. So my optometrist was literally the only doctor that my mom couldn't escape me going. And my cousin did a summer program, SHPEP. So I followed in her footsteps, and I went to the Louisville, Kentucky site, and that's where they paired me with an ophthalmologist, Dr. Shori Payne. And the way she talked about the eyes and how beautiful it was, I was like, yes, this is it. And then I was able to hold pig eyes in my hand and just twist them around. I said, okay, I'm comfortable. I can do this. I can touch eyes. I can work with eyes for a living. Now, I knew for a fact I didn't want to do ophthalmology. Mm-hmm. So that it was automatically optometry from get-go.
I love that. I also got exposed to optometry through SMDPH. That's what it was called when I did it a while back. But that's when I got exposed to it too, because one of the girls I was in the program with, she also became an optometrist afterwards. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go to optometry school. And at that point, I didn't even know optometrists didn't go to med school as an undergrad. I was like, oh, wait, optometry school? Wait, what is that? So it's very cool how these summer programs really open our eyes. And a lot of people don't even know what careers exist and what fields exist and how to enter them. So that's really cool. That's how it was expressed to you. And let's see, how has your experience been at Nova? What are some of the highs, maybe some of the lows? What's been your favorite part?
When I describe Nova, like the simplest way I can put it, it's like a roller coaster. I agree. My pop year felt like when the ride is first taking off and you don't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And then 1 year is, we're climbing. Okay, I'm getting ready for a drop. And it's just a drop that never ended type of thing. But now, third year is feeling like, the ride starts to slow down and I'm getting ready to get off of it. And I'm getting excited that I can get off of the ride now. That's how it is.
So for those of our listeners who don't go to Nova, can you explain what POP is?
I didn't even know you did POP.
Yeah.
You a POP? You hold on now.
You family now. You family.
No. That's crazy. Welcome. Well, first of all, welcome to the POP family. You know what I mean? Welcome to the POP family. Huh?
Me and you.
Brother,
only me and Cortez.
Without POP, we wouldn't have you guys.
But y'all, what's POP? For our listeners who didn't go to Nova, or even who did go to Nova, not everybody knows what POP is. So let's have one of y'all POP family members explain it for the audience.
Cortez, man, tell them what POP is, bro.
So basically, POP is it's POP, but it's short for pre-optometry program. So basically, it kind of gets you ready for what the first year is going to be like. You have been selected among a lot of applicants who also applied to optometry school, and a lot of them got in, but there were some that were like, man, I see something in these guys and gals. I see that they can compete. They're well-rounded. The grades are okay. They have the passion and motivation, and they have the support behind them. I want to give them a shot to be able to prove themselves to see, can they matriculate or go to the next level? Can they go into year one and still be able to keep up with all the students that are already in the traditional program? So pretty much it gives us a chance to say, hey, you know what? They were doing so much. They weren't just in the books. They were in sports. They were in other programs, sororities, fraternities. They were royal rounded. So this is why I see, okay, I can see why their grades or scores may not be where the total academic person may be, because that's all they do. So it's kind of like saying, hey, even towards the last 2 years of my undergrad, my junior and senior, I hadn't been doing great, but they saw that, hey, man, this kid's grade is going up. And he's in the classes that are the most difficult, the organics, the organic 1, 2, the chemistry, the physics 1 and 2. They're like, he's doing better in the tougher classes than he was doing when he first started undergrad. So they kind of saw that upward trend. And so they're like, okay, there is something there. So basically the program is designed for students who have the desire, who have the passion, and they see that, man, this might be a great doctor in the future. Let me see, can they prove that first year? Now, you do have to maintain certain grades throughout that first year. You do have to prove yourself and take some extra classes that you wouldn't have normally taken in the traditional program, but it's worth it in the long run. That 1 year could be used in POP, or it can be used sitting at home trying to reapply to the traditional program. So for us, it was like a one-in, like, hey, I can go take these courses. I don't have to sit out a whole year. I can be around the profession. And if I do well this year, I can go ahead and naturally go into year one, so to speak, of optometry school, and then keep going with everybody else. I don't have to reapply to do the OAT again. I don't have to reapply to all these schools and hope that I get in. I just need to prove myself in that POP year. So that's really what it was designed for. So,
Quick question, Azalia. When you were in POP versus in your current class, how many Black people were in POP versus that are in your current class now?
I think it was about 4 of us, 4 or 5 of us, but only 2 of us made it over, sadly.
yeah.
Was there in the traditional program any Black students?
You have 1 Ethiopian, 1 Jamaican, and then it's me and Muriel. So still just like about 4 or 5 of us.
Wow.
That was about it.
That's about it. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And when I tell my story about how I got to like Nova, people always ask me, how did you get to Florida? And I tell everybody, like, God will watch you struggle to try to do things the way you want to do it. But I had to realize this is where he wanted me to be, because when Nova first emailed me about POP, I kind of ignored it. I said, I can get into a traditional program. I can do this. So I took that test twice, got the same 280 twice. So I was like, what's going on? I got into a Kaplan course. My mom paid for me a Kaplan course. I was preparing to take that test for the 3rd time. And then Nova emailed me for a 3rd time. And my cousin, Lauren, she booked my flight and she said, go to this interview.
Take action on that.
Because they were looking like, okay, 3.87 undergraduate GPA, but this test score. And that was just it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's what makes, and you know what's funny, that's what makes this even more like special, because you know, you have you probably went through all college, you probably were just killing it, right? You had a situation that neutralized you a little bit. That kind of was like, hey, I'm taking this test and I just can't, like, for some reason it ain't getting me. And POP is over there, they knocking on your door now. They ain't left the door yet. They still knocking. And then you know, being put in a position where you're doing this, and it's almost a certain sense for you probably stepping, you know, not only just kind of surrendering to what God had for you, but taking a step of humility to have to take that program a little bit, right? But to see it now and to see how you even, you know, you got in it, look at what you're doing, right? It did, that number did not prove or show the quality and value that you had as a student. And that's the key about like everything that we've been talking about here. It's like what's inside people it is not definitive by a number or grade or anything like that, because at the end of the day, we're all great ODs. You're a great student doctor. You won on scholarship, and you're killing it in all your classes, and you're well loved and known and respected in your program, and you're killing it on the highest level. But even you have a story to tell. You see what I'm saying? So that's why even this is even more special.
Mhm.
Yes.
How do you think the POP program prepared you for that first year? Like, did you feel ready for that first year of optometry school after completing POP?
POP was my blessing in disguise, because I feel like if I would have been tossed straight into first year, it would have been, I don't know, because when I took my first gross anatomy test as a POP student, that was my slap in the face. That was you went through your entire career not really having to study, but now you got to.
Right. You got to study.
So I had to like how to study for professional school, because like they said, how I studied in undergrad wasn't going to cut it. So
that ain't gonna work.
We've got some flashbacks to that first gross anatomy test. Now that is a test of your spirit right there, that class. But anyway, moving on. So we talked a lot about POP, but what led you to apply for the FBD scholarship? Tell us a little bit how you found out about it, the application process, and what it meant to you to be a winner.
Let me tell you the real reason.
Of course.
I used to work for Dr. Brandon Cornish in Fort Lauderdale, and he has all his awards and his degrees on his wall. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then here's this scholarship made for us, by us. And I'm like, oh, I love everything Black. So when it's time to represent something Black and amazing, oh yes, I'm there. I'm gonna go for it. And I found out about it when they first announced it to us last year, and I was like, and that's when I was looking at Issa, because she won it last year, and I was like, oh man, she's doing this. She's so amazing. She's the president. She's getting her master's too, and I'm just like, I can't compete with that. And that's when I had to find what works for me. I had to find what works for me, and then I also found myself praying last year for God to use me. Out of nowhere, I got mentees. Out of nowhere, there are girls reaching out to me. Hey, I'm interested in this, or hey, can you help me with this? Or it came to me as a shock, the way he started to use me.
And I'll say, classmates speak very highly of you. Even I don't know her real name, but she goes by Baby Optometrist on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, like she has so much good stuff to say about you, and just to say that about a person who you're, spending every day with in class, like you definitely are putting it out there, being a good role model to even your classmates.
I used to think I didn't have like leadership qualities up until we had an event with NOSA Spectrum, and it was entitled like Journey to Optometry. And the first one was like our professors telling like their stories, and Dr. Victor, her story was about how, she went to predominantly white schools her entire life. And I was like, but that's not like my Black story. So I got the mic and I told my story, and it shook everybody. And that night, Dr. Williford told me, it took courage for you to do that. That's the quality of a leader right there. And I was like,
yeah.
So can you tell us a little about your involvement at NOVA? What clubs are you involved in? How you execute your leadership skills throughout your time there?
I have been in my beloved NOSA since I could. We couldn't join top students, but OD 1 year, I was the OD 1 rep. My OD 2 year, I was the secretary, and now I'm the president of my chapter and the NOSA National Historian. So I just love it.
Amazing. Have you gone to any of those conventions?
Yes, I went last summer. That was in California, Anaheim.
Uh-huh.
That was an amazing experience. I really, really, the NOA is so small, but it was so intimate. And the vibe, as I would say, it was just perfect.
I agree. I agree.
Never been to an NOA. Now you have me want to go to an NOA convention. Never been to one.
Got to.
I've heard they're amazing. I haven't been to one either, but I've heard nothing but positive stories about them. Nothing but good.
Mhm.
So what's on the horizon for this year? So I know we have eyeball coming up, but any big plans for the summer, the rest of the school year? What's going on?
She just finished taking boards, y'all.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
I have been preparing for boards for 10 months. I started as soon as KMK, I know, started as soon as KMK gave us the study plan, like the study schedule, and I stuck with that because I was like I was saying, I didn't get a good OAT score, so I was like, I
Always
didn't.
in the back of your head.
Standardized testing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I didn't want that to like be my like the negative voice in the back of my head. So I started to write sticky notes around my apartment. And the one that's still on my board here that says the blood still works.
You better say that.
So I had to keep life into myself and keep going and just
Some people miss that. They gonna get when they driving home, on the way home, they gonna get that. That's not for right now. Only a select few people can get that right now. But some other people, they gonna get it when they on the way home.
I got you, man.
Hey, Azalia's spitting, man. Hey, Azalia's spitting, man. You gotta catch up on the jewels she dropping, man. She's spitting.
So look, I was born in a Baptist church. My granddaddy a pastor.
Oh, it's all making sense now.
My mama's the songbird of the choir.
Wow, that is.
Yep.
Hey, that's that faith gonna keep you. Trust me, that faith is gonna keep you.
Oh, my faith increased tremendously during optometry school. Tremendous. That's why I'm excited for 4th year so that I can dive deeper into my Bible. I'm so excited to not have to constantly be studying optometry now. That's what I'm ready to jump into.
Hey, you inspire me. You
inspire
me over here.
Yes. So in October, I'm in-house first. And in October, I go to Lake Nona VA in Orlando.
Okay.
And then in Atlanta in February at Milan Eye Center.
Come visit me in Atlanta. I can tell you all about Millen. All about Millen. It's gonna be a really good experience.
Okay.
She ain't gonna have no time to come visit you.
Right.
I can come talk to her. I can come visit her. She's coming to my city.
What would you say so far you've clinged to as far as specialties? What do you like so far when you're in clinic, the things that you know what I'm saying? Are you disease, contacts, low vision, blah, blah, blah? What do you like?
Pediatrics. I love the kids.
Oh, man, see, I ain't trying to deal with kids,
I
man.
come from a pediatrician, y'all. I saw that coming.
Kids.
The bigger question is, would you do a residency?
Oh, that question, I've talked to numerous doctors about residency, especially in pediatrics, and they've told me that a pediatric residency really isn't worth it. If you're gonna do a residency, do it in a disease or like a VA. But depending on if I fall in love with the VA while I'm in Lake Nona, that'll drive me closer to doing a residency. But
do you like the peds more for like VT and BV, or do you just like kids?
Kind of sort of all of the above, because VT, like the BV system is very important because a lot of like BV issues go undiagnosed, especially within the African American community, and they label little Johnny as bad or little Johnny is acting out when little Johnny just can't focus, little Johnny can't see. But
right.
That's what my heart is.
I see it every day. So I saw 12 kids today alone. A lot of kids. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, Cortez basically runs a pediatric practice. So if that is something that you interested in, you could tap into him because he's doing all that BV. Now I don't know if he don't do no BV testing or nothing. He don't even do color
I
testing.
do a little. I dibble in that. You know, the parents trust me. The parents gotta trust you, and then you know what? I'm trusted in the community. So
Yeah, I was just about to ask you because I know you see a lot of kids, Cortez, but how much BV do you do, if any?
I do very, very minimum BV. We have a BV specialist here, and they do all the training, the tests, what we used to have to do in P's and sit there and go through all those sessions. He does all that. So I'm happy that he's in the area because I'm pretty much the flow through. Any kind of anything with a kid, they send them to me. I'm the only pediatric optometrist in the area. The ophthalmologist, he's gone. He retired 6 months ago. So even his patients come here now. And so it's like, hey, can you do it? If you can't do it, we got to go an hour to Orlando. We got to drive 2 hours to Miami. Can you do it? Right? So I do as much as I can. And if I can't deal with it, I know where to send it to. And I got some good colleagues around that kind of helps me with that stuff as well. So it's no pressure. It's like, I'm just good with kids. I'm not the best in all the different techniques. I know about them. I'm educating parents about them. And so they're like, oh, he's well educated. You've given me the most information than any doctor ever. That's what gains the trust. I got to bring my rest of my kids. I got to bring my grandparents. I got to bring me, ma, whoever, right? So you gain the trust of the community and they're going to come, right? Because where else they're going to go? If I'm considered peace around here, you know what I'm saying? What else they got? The America's best of the world, the people that's going to run them through real quick. So it's like, oh, he's spending time. My kids laughing in the exam chair. My kids having fun. That's what parents want to see. So at the end of the day, yeah, it works for me.
Let me ask you, Azalia, do you like do you know this more in your 4th year, but you know, have you seen yourself liking academia a lot? Do you think you're just gonna get out to the money when you're done, or you'll probably stick around and teach, or you know, what do you think? What do you think?
Teaching is not my calling.
That's not your calling.
Teaching is not my calling. Taking care of people is, but teaching, no. I leave that to my mom.
That's good.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Teaching was never for me. I'm good at it, like doing it, but not for the full career.
You mean fill in teaching? Like if someone called you to do a lecture or two, would you be okay with doing something like that?
Is that to me or to Azalia?
For Azalia.
Yeah.
I'd be open to it. I think when I say teaching, I mean as like me having to sit and work with you while you build and develop that skill. Cause we took a personality test today in practice management course, and my personality came out being the perfectionist. And now my little brother is taking up after me, and he's trying to learn how to play the saxophone. And when it comes to us sitting down together, I'm always like, you should have already known this, or you should be able to do this. Where I go and talk to the band director, he's like, slow down, he's not on your level yet. So that would be something that I have to work on.
Yeah. Dang, wait till you have kids then, because I be looking at my kid like, you don't know this already, bro?
Like, bro, we done went through this every day.
Like, we do this every day.
We go through the same book every day. What's the next letter after J? How we do this we do this every day, man. Come on, man. Say the wrong word again if you want to. Right. I'll tell you what, hey.
Hey, no patience to teach. I'm like, who taught me this? Like, who had the patience to teach me as a kid? Like, I can't do it.
Now, believe it or not, and I like teaching too. Believe it or not, I do like teaching, but I don't think teaching optometry is my calling either, right? You know, but the reason why I ask is because, you know, what are your plans, you know, after graduation? You know, do you plan on sticking around Florida because that's gonna matter for boards part 3? Do you plan on going back, you know, back home and practicing back there? Do you already have something lined up for what you want to do?
Nothing's lined up at the moment. I've had one company in Central Florida reach out to me, but other than that, I know for a fact I am interested in Florida, but not South Florida or Atlanta, since I have my cousin there. I'll have somebody there because being by myself in South Florida has been like one of the worst parts because I'm so family oriented. So Mississippi.
The SIP.
What you say about Mississippi? You going back to Mississippi? No
The
way.
SIP.
I don't know. That was in the air. So right now I'm just figuring it out. Like that was gonna be one of my main questions to you guys is how do you figure out where do you wanna settle and where do you end up? Like how do you get to your final?
Well, Rochelle ended up in a harsh place. So she took the road less traveled, but she makes the most money. So you want to know about money, you can talk to Rochelle.
I have family in Charlotte though. So I did have to have family there and stay in a big city. But it was, for me, the driving factor was money. So, yeah. And family.
I get
but
up
with
and go
Florida, I mean, think about right now with the whole Florida issue going on. Is that raised any?
Well, they're trying to take the doctor's title.
I mean, they trying to take our title away.
Hey, we need to have we need to have a pod on just that. We need to have a pod on that. I got opinions. The tea is hot on that one.
Yes, good. But
yeah. But yeah, go where there's a good balance for you. I mean, your quality of life, your family, what is really going to make you happy as you move forward in that next step of your life? Because if you just miserable in the place where you're at, you're not going to like being at your work. So
quality of life is the best. That's the most important factor in where you choose to live. Like you can find a job wherever you go. Finding a job is not going to be hard. You have to decide what city, what town will I be happiest in. Pick that and find the job. There are jobs everywhere. Everywhere. Don't matter.
Is everybody happy? Is everybody happy where they are right now?
Yeah.
Tasani, you play. Tasani.
He said, yeah.
Y'all don't know the backstory about Tasani well, but y'all know she's going to tell y'all offline. I know because I'm posted to something. I know what I'm talking about. But you're gonna realize what modality you want to practice in, whether it be a corporate setting, private practice, all that stuff you'll start to see afterwards. I do agree with what everybody said though, because for all of us, we've been out now. This is going on our sixth year. We've been out now, doing this for 6 years.
Crazy.
So we've been out here for a little bit, got a little bit of skin now in the game. You know what I'm saying? We're not newbies anymore, really. So at the end of the day, we've all made some money and we've seen that, okay, you make the money, but what really boils down to is that quality of life, that balance. If you know deep down internally you're a family person, don't go away from your family, so stay right with your family. If it's in the SIP, it's in the SIP, right? If you're the type of person like Cortez is like, yeah, my family cool, they can come visit me. Like that's it. They don't care, right? So, and that's how he is, right? So it depends on the type of person that you are, but at the end of the day, once you figure out like that modality and what type of practice you want to work in, there's going to be people knocking on your door no matter what state you decide to live in. You're going to have an opportunity regardless. So just if you talk, the world is going to be your oyster when you graduate. You'll see. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of the main motivators is money. So don't sleep on the fact that you got to make money. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of ODs are settling for chump change when really we're worth a lot more. You'll learn how to fight for that stuff as you navigate that fourth year, and when you're about to start getting into that application process, you'll start learning things, and we've had a lot of episodes on even just that stuff too, so you can even refer back to that. But yeah, either way, you got to be led by God. You know that. You're gonna have to let God lead that.
I always tell him I'm gonna end up where he want me.
And you
that's the place he wants you, right? So that's what he got for you, right? Especially, I'm assuming you're single, no kids, so you can go wherever you want to go, right? So it's just gonna be, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But that's awesome.
What other
Any other questions? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What other questions do you have for us? We are here and ready to answer.
One is, if you guys were starting your 4th year over again, what did you wish you had known starting 4th year?
Good question.
I guess for me, so I'm the person that had to retake board multiple times, right? So in the back of my head, it's like, dang, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to make it through, right? But I also knew I had enough in me. I went through this whole process that I can still make it through. And I guess just like you said, staying positive about the whole situation, just not making it seem like you're not going to get through this, because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So basically what you said, that really just resonated with me, because it just brought me back to where I was back then. But like saying, you made it through your pop year, you made it through all of this now, and there's just more to continue to grow. So
there's two things I wish I knew. Or Cortez, you want to go first?
No, you good. Go ahead.
So one was that the VA was a lot harder than I thought. So I went into the VA thinking, oh, it's going to be like 3rd year clinic, like it's going to be fine. No, like there's a lot of things that surprise you. The patients are very, very sickly, very special. Like you're forced to see a lot more people than you ever have before, and just learning to be confident in your diagnosis, confident in how you talk to people, and not really be afraid to ask questions. Because at the beginning I was very apprehensive. Like I didn't want my preceptors to think that, oh, I'm coming from Nova, like I didn't know anything, I'm at the VA and they gotta like reteach me everything I'm already supposed to know. Just asking questions, because they don't expect you to know much, right? Like they might be a little bit intimidating, a little stern, but that's just for you to gain your confidence. It's not for them to scare you or to intimidate you. It's really to help you. So just ask questions and don't be afraid, because it's going to be hard, but it's there for you to learn. And I became one of the better doctors, I think, for going to the VA. I learned a lot more there than I did any of my rotations. And then 2, you don't have to have a job before you graduate. I feel like that was one thing that a lot of people stressed out about. I know I stressed out about. And it's very easy to find a job after you graduate. You don't need to worry about locking in a job before you graduate if you don't find the one that you want. That's fine. If you don't know what you want, that's fine too, because as soon as you're ready to find a job, it'll be there for you. So you can always rest easy and be assured that life will work out the way it's supposed to.
mm-hmm.
I had kids, so I needed a job. Job day one.
Yay.
I got a family to feed. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I would say that when you're in your rotations, confidence is the biggest thing. You don't always have it at first, which is fine, but it's really hard to screw up, right? Once you get comfortable with the eye industry, you got to really try hard to just screw it up, right? If you're paying attention, if you're doing what you learn, if you're applying what you learn, you're being attentive, you're gonna make mistakes, but it's not enough to where it's gonna harm the patient, because you got them coming right behind you. So at the end of the day, you're there to learn. So that's where you're gonna ask the most questions. And the biggest thing is that if the Lord has brought you this far through pop, he put you through this path, you're gonna make it through the end, right? You already know you're gonna make it through the end. So you just gotta go. It's the time. You just gotta put the time in, which you at the end. So, and we 6 years out. So it's like we feel old, like, dang, we graduated 6 years ago.
Right. Yeah, no, and what I would say, just to add all that too, is just don't take everything too personal when you start getting in your 4th year as well, dealing with a lot of different practices and different places you're going, and everybody's been through walked in them same shoes that you walking in. You know what I'm saying? I think I took a lot of things like I had thick skin because I was already very confident. You know what I'm saying? But there's just days where you're gonna have days like everybody else where you just feel like you don't know enough, you don't know what you're doing. But just rest assured that when you right before you graduate, you're gonna be 100% ready to be confident about your prescription. So just learn it all, absorb everything in, the good, the bad, the ugly. Some preceptors and some places you go are not gonna be fair to you. Just because of the color of your skin, they're gonna completely underestimate you, undermine you. probably belittle you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They know how I feel about certain people. You know, they're going to intentionally go out their way to do that, and it affected me. So I got in clinic and I couldn't perform because I didn't want that person to be my preceptor. But because that person was there today, then I was mad and I couldn't focus. So it's just like, nah, you gotta really try to, show up for yourself. Pay attention, be there for you. You're not there for nobody else. Don't matter if they don't like you, they love you. You're there for yourself. Show up for yourself and do what you got to do for you. You know what I mean? So, but rest assured that everything they said, it's all gonna come together perfectly right in the end. So you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. What else you got, Azalia?
It was the other question I wanted to, like, what was you guys' preference when it came to like the difference between private and corporate? But I think I can watch another podcast video that's gonna teach me that.
Yeah, we went really in depth with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was also personal choices too. Because there are pros and cons to both. Like a lot of pros and cons to both. And it comes down to what's more important to you as an individual doctor than private or corporate. Because they're both great modalities and they both have a lot of pros and they both have a lot of cons. So definitely watch one of our videos about it.
Hey, I'm still eating rice and beans to this day.
Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him.
He just got back from vacation. Don't listen to him. He just got back from vacation. Don't even listen to him.
To this day, beans and cornbread. It'll stretch you.
You'll realize in this climate, it's tough to do private. So, much respect to Cortez because there's a lot of competition. So if you don't find a way to set yourself apart, make yourself different, like what Cortez is doing, it's very, you're gonna realize the corporate giants have taken up the majority of that market. So, it's very hard to compete with Warby, Zenni, and all these other companies. So what we don't talk about is the realistic nature of the business, which is how do you make money in optometry, glasses and contacts. So, you know what I mean, or whatever refractive corrections that we do, and you can do all you want in optometry, but at the end of the day, you got to pay your bills. So what you'll realize is sometimes you gotta make some pivots, do some things you don't want to do, but it's okay to change. It's okay to do. I mean, Tasani, you could speak to being in a corporate situation and then go into something that's more, your show, and it's still corporate, because you can have corporate where you run the show. You can have corporate where you're a W-2, you're an employee, and they pay you and take your taxes. Or you can be in a corporate setting and you're 1099 and you are the one that, you do your own thing, right? So there's different ways of doing it without having to go to your own private practice. So, you'll learn all that stuff too.
Yeah,
I think you guys no one talks about all that. These people coming.
Yeah, no one talks about it. And then in practice management, you learn about it as well. And also in fourth year, all the corporate companies come visit you and they'll talk about what their modalities are and what you can do as a doctor and which ones are more free, which ones have a little bit more restrictions. You'll learn all about that during fourth year. And as you're job searching, just ask questions. Remember, when you're on a job interview, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. So ask all the questions that are important to you, because even if they like you and you don't like them, that's cool. Move on to the one that you like, because you'll find a company that fits your values. Do y'all have any last? What?
No, I was just agreeing, I was agreeing to that point too. I was talking to a company not too long ago, doing a phone interview, and I realized the importance of it really hit me now in this stage, because when you're first coming out, you almost just whatever you accept whatever they tell you. You're almost afraid to ask a question because you don't want to seem like you doing too much. Boy, you get on phone me now with what I know now. Boy, they said, man, you asking so many questions. Yeah, because I'm interviewing you too. Because I know my value I bring to the table. I don't need you either. You need me.
Yeah.
So when I talk to companies now, it ain't about I need you, it's about you need me. So I need to see if you're a fit for me. right?
Yeah.
That confidence comes later, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the same. It's back and forth. There ain't nobody telling you this is what your schedule gonna be. This is what. No. We ain't doing that.
Still can negotiate to this day. I'm still negotiating.
Yeah, that negotiation is never done.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Never.
Ask for more.
Always.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's one last word of advice that y'all would want to give to Azalia?
And we
God,
gave it.
We gave her all the nuggets already. Y'all had no more nuggets?
God's got you, man. That's all I say. God's got you. And we've all been there. So like we literally like walked so that like you can run. And you're actually running faster than we do. So you know what I'm saying? So that's it. Like, just keep on running because it's just a matter of timing at this point, Peter. That's why I call you Dr. Roach, because it's just a matter of timing. So
Into existence.
It's already there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're all going back to school to be plastic surgeons.
boobs and butts.
Who going back to school?
I'm just playing. I couldn't do another day.
Yeah, Azalia, you're doing the hardest part now. After this, once you get through school, it's gonna be all worth it. It's gonna be all worth it. That's all I'll say. It'll all be worth it. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much, Azalia, for joining us. You dropped so many words of wisdom and good quotes. Thank you. We're so proud of you. We wish you the best of luck as you finish up optometry school and have a great time at Eyeball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Signing out. Bye, y'all.
Bye.